Have you ever felt like your mind never stops working? Like you're constantly analyzing everything around you, while everyone else seems perfectly comfortable living on autopilot? If so, you might relate to something psychologists have been studying for decades: the hidden struggles of highly intelligent people. Most people think being highly intelligent is a superpower. They imagine that smart people have easier lives, better careers, stronger relationships, and fewer problems. But psychology tells a very different story, in fact. Some of the most intelligent people in the world struggle with challenges that most others never even notice. Their greatest strength often becomes their greatest burden, and if you've ever felt misunderstood, isolated, exhausted by your own thoughts, or frustrated by the world around you, first struggle of highly intelligent people is that they overthink absolutely everything. While most people make decisions quickly, highly intelligent individuals often analyze every possible outcome, every consequence, every hidden meaning, and every potential mistake. Their brains don't simply process information. They dissect it. A simple text message can turn into 20 minutes of analysis. Why did they use that word? What did they really mean? Should I respond now or later? Did I say something wrong? Psychologists call this tendency excessive cognitive processing. And while it can lead to better decision-making in some situations, it often creates anxiety, hesitation, and mental exhaustion. Imagine your brain acting like a search engine that never stops loading new tabs. Eventually, you become overwhelmed by your own thoughts. Ironically, intelligence doesn't always help people find answers faster. Sometimes, it simply creates more questions. The second struggle is feeling misunderstood by almost everyone. Many highly intelligent people report feeling different from an early age. They may have had unusual interests, asked difficult questions, or viewed the world in ways that others didn't understand as adults. This feeling often becomes even stronger. They may crave deep conversations about philosophy, psychology, science, meaning, or human behavior, only to find themselves surrounded by small talk, superficial interactions. This doesn't mean they believe they're better than others. In fact, many highly intelligent people desperately want connection. The problem is that they often struggle to find people who understand how they think. Psychologists refer to this as intellectual loneliness. You can be surrounded by friends, coworkers, and family members and still feel profoundly alone if nobody truly understands. It's the way your mind works. And perhaps the hardest part is that after years of feeling misunderstood, many intelligent people stop trying to explain themselves altogether. The third struggle is perfectionism. Highly intelligent individuals often have an extraordinary ability to imagine what perfection looks like. Unfortunately, reality rarely matches that vision. They don't just want to succeed, they want to succeed flawlessly. They don't just want to create something good, they want to create something extraordinary. And because their standards are so high, they often become trapped in a painful cycle. They delay starting projects because they're afraid of failure. They criticize their own work relentlessly. They focus more on their mistakes than their achievements. Psychologists have found that perfectionism is strongly associated with anxiety, depression, procrastination, and burnout. Ironically, the smarter someone is, the easier it becomes to identify flaws, including flaws in themselves. This means that highly intelligent people often become their own worst critics, while others celebrate progress. They focus on imperfections, while others feel pride. They feel disappointment. And while others move forward, they remain stuck, trying to achieve an impossible standard. The fourth struggle is overanalyzing relationships. Love, friendship, and human connection are already complicated, but for highly intelligent people, relationships can become psychological. Puzzles that never end. They analyze facial expressions, they analyze tone of voice, they analyze text messages, they analyze silence. Instead of simply experiencing relationships, they often find themselves studying them. This creates a difficult paradox. They crave emotional intimacy more than most people realize, but their tendency to analyze everything can prevent them from fully relaxing and trusting others. Research in psychology suggests that people with higher cognitive complexity often experience more relationship anxiety because they can imagine countless possibilities, risks, and future outcomes, their mind constantly asks questions. What if they leave? What if they're lying? What if I'm misunderstanding everything? Sometimes intelligence creates awareness, but awareness without emotional peace can become exhausting. The fifth struggle is struggling to find meaning and purpose. One of the hidden costs of intelligence is the inability to accept simple answers. Highly intelligent people often question everything. Why are we here? What gives life meaning? What truly matters? Why do people behave the way they do? What happens after death? These questions aren't occasional thoughts. They're ongoing mental conversations. Psychologists have observed that individuals with higher intelligence often experience what is called existential anxiety. They become deeply aware of life's uncertainty, mortality, and complexity, while others may find comfort in simple explanations. Highly intelligent individuals often continue searching, and sometimes the search itself becomes painful, because when you see multiple perspectives, multiple truths, and multiple possibilities, certainty becomes difficult. This is why many highly intelligent people experience periods of deep existential crisis, not because they're weak, but because they're trying to understand questions that may not have simple answers. The sixth struggle is boredom. This might sound strange after all. How can someone with an active mind become bored? But psychology suggests that highly intelligent individuals often require greater levels of mental stimulation than others. Routine tasks can feel unbearable. Repetitive conversations can feel exhausting. Predictable environments can feel suffocating. Their minds crave challenge, novelty, complexity, and growth when they don't receive enough stimulation. They may experience frustration, restlessness, or even symptoms that resemble depression. This is one reason why many highly intelligent people change careers, hobbies, interests, and life goals more frequently than others. It's not because they're unstable. It's because their minds are. It's constantly searching for something meaningful and intellectually engaging. Unfortunately, the modern world often rewards routine more than curiosity, and for highly intelligent people, that can feel like being trapped. The seventh and perhaps most painful struggle is self-awareness. Most people assume that self-awareness is always a good thing, but psychologists know that extreme self-awareness can become emotionally overwhelming. Highly intelligent people often possess an extraordinary ability to observe themselves. They notice their weaknesses, they notice their fears, they notice their insecurities, they notice their mistakes, they notice contradictions within their own personality. This level of self-observation can lead to tremendous personal growth, but it can also lead to chronic self-doubt. Because when you understand yourself deeply, you also become painfully aware of your limitations. You recognize every missed opportunity, every bad decision, every fear, every flaw. And sometimes, knowing yourself too well becomes its own form of suffering. Perhaps this is why some of the greatest thinkers, writers, scientists, and philosophers throughout history struggled with anxiety, depression, loneliness, and emotional pain. Their intelligence allowed them to see things others couldn't, but it also forced them to carry burdens others couldn't see. If you've related to these struggles, there is something important you need to remember. These experiences do not mean there's something wrong with you. They may simply mean that your mind operates differently than most people around you. Intelligence isn't just about solving equations, getting good grades, or having a high IQ. It's also about experiencing the world in a more complex, intense, and deeply analytical way. And while that can sometimes feel lonely, frustrating, and exhausting, it can also be the source of extraordinary creativity, empathy, wisdom, and insight. Same mind that causes you to overthink is also capable of understanding others deeply. The same mind that questions everything is also capable of discovering profound truths. The same mind that feels isolated is also capable of creating meaningful connections that change lives. Perhaps the goal isn't to stop being highly intelligent, perhaps. The goal is learning how to live peacefully with a mind that sees more than most people do. If this video resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join our community for more psychology and human behavior content now. I'm curious, which of these 7 struggles affects you the most? Overthinking, loneliness, perfectionism, relationship analysis, existential questions, boredom, or extreme self-awareness? Let me know in the comments below. I'd genuinely love to hear your experience.